Alright, hey guys, Joy Lucky here, and as promised, I'm going to do a breakdown of my S rank run of Barely Buried and kind of give you guys a quick analysis of how I achieved the S rank. Before we get started, Barely Buried is by far the hardest level to S rank. This level is insane. This is definitely the most treacherous and hardest level in the game currently. It's not really one of my favourites either, which is sad. I think Barely Buried has a lot of potential, which it kind of lost. I think people were hoping for a lot more in Barely Buried, but not really. We didn't really get it. The levels kind of... the bosses are fun, I guess, except the mid-boss, which is frustrating. The final boss is quite fun. Also, Zone 3 I quite like. I quite like Zone 3. But aside from that, this level's a bit so that's what puts a lot of people off the S rank. Well, or what I'm guessing. It literally just became S rankable a couple of hours ago because the patch just came out. But yeah, so in this video I'm going to help you do a quick breakdown. Now, in the video I actually commentated over the beginning telling you guys what I recommend you run for your power builds. I'm just going to skip past this because it's literally in the video. In the video I literally tell you why you want to run these powers. Oh, kinda. I don't really specify why you want to get these two, but I think it's pretty obvious why you want Vanish and Primal Fear Max and Telekinesis to an extent, and also why you want to put the rest in your speed boost. So, without further ado, let's just get straight into the video. So, first of all, I should have put timestamps in the video, I do apologise, that's something I should have done. First secret, make sure you grab it. Super easy, just when you go up the staircase, take a right, go down the balcony, break open the door, first secret, boom. Okay, now, something which I think a lot of people are going to be curious about. How do you do this bit? Zone 1. Okay, so what I like to do and what I did in the video is when I enter, I immediately take the immediate right turn. There's several right turns. I take the immediate right, I go down here, and then I go down this hallway. Now at this point, make sure you're listening. Listen for the footsteps of the Trigger Teddy. If your timing and RNG is good, which yes, RNG does play a part in this, you can get past him undetected. His attention span is super short, so he will lose sight of you. If he loses sight of you in like more than 1 second, then he'll just give up. I think you can run at this bit, but in the past I have ran at this section. Trigger Teddies have chased me up it. I think that's probably been fixed now, but I just played it safe and I just decided to walk at this area. So yeah, anyway, let's get to Zone 1. Now, if you watch the video, something hilarious did happen. I immediately took the first L, like, right here. Yeah, so I literally, the Trigger Teddy was right there, so I immediately turned the corner and he's right there. So I did lose my first life here. But at the time of the new patch that came out, the Shard Streak bug is no longer a thing. So don't worry if you die. You don't just always lose your streak. If you've gotten the Shard Streak and you die, it's fine. Because you keep it now. Zone 1 is tricky. Zone 1's actually pretty tricky. Which is interesting because, you know, Zone 1 is very odd. It's different. I do like how they're trying to make it, spice things up a bit. But yeah, Zone 1. So for Zone 1, take your time. Just take your time. For Zone 1, you want to do a total of 2 sweeps. So the first time you want to do it is where you collect those 4 shards after you exit the attic. And you want to take that route I took. By the time your Vanish ended, you want to be here. So go to the Trigger Teddies do not patrol this area here. So you'll be safe. Make sure you're just behind the wall in case one of them from like up here sees you and starts running down. Remember, their attention span's really bad. So they'll lose sight of you. They lose interest. And also Mama Bear's bedroom's here. You can tell Mama Bear's bedroom is by this. It's got this huge long hallway here. That's Mama Bear's bedroom, and then that's the Trigger Teddy room. And then you've got like the foyer and stuff. So yeah, then for your second sweep, you should have 5 more shards to collect. Obviously, just be careful. Don't take your time. Remember, you've got 15 seconds to do this. That's how long Vanish lasts. Do that, and then as soon as you've done that, make your way back to Mama Bear's bedroom, and then that's you. That's Zone 1 done. There is a little bit of RNG involved with Zone 1, but since it's this first zone, if you're confident, you can lose both of your lives in Zone 1, and as long as you complete the rest of the level without dying, you'll be fine. You can lose 2 lives. In the video, I just double checked that I grabbed that secret because sometimes I think I have short memory loss or something. So I'm just making sure I grabbed that, but also just to show you guys additionally, just don't forget that secret because I think a lot of people can forget that one. It's a very easy one to forget. Okay. Now we're going to skip ahead very far to Zone 2. Now, in Zone 2, here we go. This is where things start getting interesting. For Zone 2, I highly recommend that you start with the outskirts. As soon as you enter the zone, I immediately recommend just going around the outskirts of the map. Zone 2 is actually very difficult. Be careful. Basically, for Zone 2, the middle sections are the inhabited sections. Basically, the outskirts are basically completely safe, unless you lure Trigger Teddies to it, or Mama Bear. But as long as you do that, that's fine. Now, I didn't get telekinesis very quickly in this stage. I highly recommend that when you have the chance, make sure you get telekinesis. For anyone who's curious, oh sorry I keep skipping back a lot, the Trigger Teddy with the ring piece is round about here. So see this hallway with the circular bit here? If you walk down there and walk up there, in this hallway here, that's where Mama Bear spawns. That's also where the ring piece will be. So later on in the level, Mama Bear will be obviously patrolling around. She'll kind of go out that area. This area will always have Trigger Teddies over it, but the ring piece, the Trigger Teddy with the ring piece will not move. He'll basically stay in that hallway. So when you get a time, just make sure you go in. I highly recommend you make sure you vanish before going in. And then Primal Fear, but obviously be careful. If you Primal Fear too close to a Trigger Teddy, you're dead and you lose a life. And you want to, in this level, especially this level, you really want to conserve your lives. This is a hard level. This is a really hard S rank. Alright, so Zone 2, it's kind of hard for me to talk about it. Basically, just keep running, keep moving. Use your ears. That's the same with every Dark Deception level. Use your ears. Make sure the Trigger Teddies are quite loud, so you'll hear them. And Mama Bear, additionally, is actually quite quiet. She's actually quite a quiet enemy, but she'll talk a lot, so don't worry about that. And also, when you're close to her, your vision gets fuzzy. That's known as bloodlusting. So don't worry about that. So basically, just use your powers. Make sure you have, again, you should have, if you're following my guide, you should have Primal Fear and Vanish at the max, which means they have the quickest cooldown. At this max, I believe Primal Fear has a 20 or 25 second cooldown, and Vanish has a 15 second cooldown. Yeah, and Primal Fear is about 20 seconds, I believe, and Vanish should only be 15 seconds. So make sure they are maxed. I cannot say this enough. Max out Primal Fear and Vanish. Max them out for this level. They are so helpful and so critical to this level's success. So make sure you, whenever you get spotted, I highly recommend just vanish. You really don't want to have Trigger Teddies trailing you. Eventually, if they're chasing you for long enough, Mama Bear and a lot of other Trigger Teddies are going to start grouping up on you, and Primal Fear can help you, but most of the time that will just lead to your demise. So be careful. My top tip for this zone is keep moving, get the outskirts done. Try and stay in the outskirts as much as you can. They are very safe. The outskirts are very safe. And just avoid Mama Bear. I know that's a pretty obvious thing, but avoid Mama Bear at all costs. She is incredibly deadly, and she will kill you if you do not have your powers. And remember, Vanish and Primal Fear, they take a while to come back, so make sure you're being really careful. As you can see in this video, if you watch my S rank run, you'll see that I always vanish when going into the middle part of the map. When I go into like I go into the more center areas, I always use vanish as much as I can. That's because these places are absolutely filled with Trigger Teddies. And as you can see in the video, there's a crap ton of Trigger Teddies, and they're always in this middle section of the map. So be careful. Aside from that, as you can see, if you get the reveal shard and you see all the Trigger Teddies are getting away from you, maybe that now gives you the time to go in and get the ring piece. Now, if you were paying attention, you'll see there are some Trigger Teddies which are still bugged, so they kind of stand still and stuff. The ring piece Trigger Teddy doesn't move, he kind of just sits there. So if you see a still thing in the middle of a corridor, or hallway. And if you're paying attention to earlier, I stated I basically told you guys where he is. If you see a red symbol standing still there, that is most likely your trigger teddy with the ring piece. If the area is cleared, then go for it. Go get it. Make sure you have Vanish and Primal Fear ready and go get that ring piece. As soon as you get Telekinesis, this zone becomes like gets over twice as fast. Without Telekinesis, this is a very long zone. Thankfully, obviously the time limit's generous. Barely Buried is a super long level, by far the longest level in the game, by a long mile. So obviously the devs are generous with the time limit. I believe you have over 45 minutes or something, which is good. So make sure you're being careful. So that's kind of it. That's really it. Just, again, be careful. I'm going to keep saying that. Be careful. This is a tricky zone. And remember, you kind of want to get your shard streak as well. I don't know exactly what the shard streak is. I managed to get the 500 shard streak for this, so if I had to put my money on it, it's probably just 250. I believe 250 is always the shard streak for levels above Monkey Business and Elementary. Although you can't die in those levels, so basically, yeah, like, the shard streak is basically that. So 250, I would place my money on it. The shard streak reset bug is fixed, so your streak will no longer reset anywhere in the level, which also makes Mascot Mayhem a lot more of a breeze now, and Torment Therapy in addition to that. So yeah, that's good. Alright. Now, the thing which I really think we should be hard focused on. The mini-boss. The first Mama Bear boss fight. Also known as the mid-boss by most. Like the mid-level boss. This is tricky. Right, guys, make sure you're paying attention to the video and my voice. At the purple barrier, you'll see that I stick very closely to this pile here. Basically, I always try to get Mama Bear to come out from that area because you can easily avoid her arm. Her arm is super easy to avoid here. You just need to back up. And eventually, when you do this long enough, you'll kind of understand the range of her arm, so eventually you'll be fine. Also, remember, use sound. Use noises. Sound is your friend. Now, something which you don't see in this video but is actually a thing, is you can use the rocks to blow up trigger teddies. Thank you to Emoji X from DD Central who actually told me about that, so thank you, dude. You can throw rocks at trigger teddies, which is amazing. I don't know if that's always been in, it probably has. It's probably been a thing since launch, I don't know. But that is super useful. Now, yes, stay close to this. Now, remember, when you hit Mama Bear for the first time, in phase 2 you have to hit her 3 times. In the second phase, a 1 trigger teddy will spawn, which is easy enough. Just Vanish Primal Fear, or if you're feeling brave enough, just throw a rock at him. Phase 3 is the hardest, so after you hit her twice, that's the hardest part. However, thankfully, which I noticed in this video, yes, this is the first time I played Barely Buried after the patch, so I literally got this on the first run, and this is literally as soon as I updated my game, I went straight into here. The 2 trigger teddies spawn in the last phase of the fight, and they spawn together now, which I have been saying really should have been the case all along, because they spawning at different times is really, really tricky. So I'm incredibly glad that they've done that. Makes the fight a lot more bearable and not as frustrating. So this is literally the tips I'm giving you. Stay here, obviously use your Vanish Primal Fear. When the trigger teddies come out, vanish. And if you don't, you should have your Primal Fear. Primal Fear is only useful for blowing up trigger teddies in this area, so if you don't have your Primal Fear, I have no idea what you're doing. I don't know if you're wasting it. And also, please don't try and Primal Fear Mama Bear. Just don't. Stop. Save it for the trigger teddies. Or, again, make sure you have a spare rock lying for safety and comfort. And that's it. That's probably all I can say. Again, there's not a lot I can really help you guys with here, because it's kind of more like, if you watch the video, you're probably getting more information than watching me talking about it, although that's probably a lie. You're probably getting more info from me. So that's all I can give you. Make sure you follow those instructions. Please just use this area. It makes this fight so much easier. And please keep your Vanish and Primal Fear for the trigger teddies, and you should be good. Alright. Zone 3, actually my favourite part of the level. I actually am a big fan of Zone 3. I actually really love this zone. It's actually like, Zone 3 of Barely Buried is actually like my third favourite zone in Dark Deception. I will defend Zone 3 with my life. I love this zone. It's beautiful, and it's really fun as well, especially when you get into the chases. So, what's the strategy for Zone 3? It's kind of basically just Zone 2 again, except much more wide, you got much more breathing room. Because Zone 3 is, I would say, is probably easier than Zone 2. Zone 2 is probably the hardest. Alright, so basically make sure that you're paying attention to the map when you get to these big areas. I'll zoom in forward a bit. Yeah, here we go. See these big rooms here? Make sure if you see a floating like rock shaped structure, that is a secret room, and you'll see an out of place rock, it's like slightly different coloured and stuff. That's your secret rooms. There are 2 of them on the map. There are 2. Barely Buried has 5 secrets, not 4. Please remember that. Just please keep that in mind. So, and if you keep that in mind, you should be all good. Zone 3 is basically literally just how you play any ordinary zone. Try your best to get the ring pieces. Remember, you need to Primal Fear 3 ring piece teddies. The 3rd teddy will always have the ring piece, which is your telepathy power, which is actually quite helpful in this zone, but I didn't use it because I got the teddy at the very last minute. I got the ring piece as soon as I got all the shards. But yeah, if you're following that, again, if you should have your Primal Fear and Vanish max, so you'll have them at your ready. Basically, mostly all the time, you'll have them available to you. So you really shouldn't have any problems with this zone. Just be careful. The trigger teddies are actually much more deadly than Mama Bear in this zone. Mama Bear is not really a threat in this zone. It's the trigger teddies you need to watch out for. And with that being said, I think it's time to get to the boss fight. So yeah, I'm just gonna zoom forward a bit. Here we go. Alright, so the funniest thing is that actually this boss fight kind of glitched out. Since I skipped the cutscene, there's like a Mama Bear, there's a folded Mama Bear, like you see, and she's just there for the entire route. She was just there for the entire game, which was really funny. So Mama Bear, the second Mama Bear boss fight is actually quite easy. This is a pretty easy boss fight, and actually one that I do enjoy as well. I enjoy, out of the in Barely Buried, I enjoy the visuals, the enemies, Zone 3, and the second boss fight. Those are the things that I like. Those are the things I like about this level. The rest is meh. Again, this level's a bit disappointing to me, but that's not what this is about. This is a guide, not a rant. So yeah, Mama Bear boss fight. Honestly, most of you guys probably already know how to do this. It's super easy. Just make sure you have speed boost all the time. Again, this is also why I'm saying make sure you've been putting your remaining skill points into your speed boost. You will want it ready and as fast as you can. Remember, it gets faster and its cooldown is decreased per level. Base speed boost is not really going to help you in this boss fight. Actually, you probably will die. Especially when you have to deal with the Spiked Ball. So this boss fight's easy. Again, you have your Vanish and Primal Fear. Primal Fear gets back to you anyway, but your Vanish is maxed out, so you'll have it every 15 seconds. So yeah, obviously just Primal Fear to beat Mama Bear. You need to Primal Fear trigger teddies when they get close to her. That is literally how you beat her. And make sure that you have your speed boost for when she does her spin attack and her Spiked Ball attack. When you take her out the second time, remember that she does her spin attack, then she jumps out, but she turns into the Spiked Ball, which I'll get to as soon as I get to that in the video. But then she'll jump back in the water, and then she'll do another spin attack. So just remember that she'll have another spin attack, and then she'll go out and do her final phase. Right, so how do you avoid the Spiked Ball? This is by far the hardest part of the fight. How do you avoid this? It's easy. Make sure you're looking at her, have your speed boost ready, look at the ball, look at the Spiked Ball, and as soon as you see which direction she's going in, immediately speed boost in the opposite direction. Mama Bear cannot change directions in her Spiked Ball form. So do not, and I repeat, do not, sorry, it's a loud household, sorry about that, do not have your speed boost wasted for no reason. Please, as soon as you see which direction she goes, speed boost the other way. Mama Bear cannot turn around. When she's walking, she can, but not when she's rolling. So that's it. Also, in her final spin attack, she does it twice, so don't get fooled. She actually does spin twice. She stops and does it again. And as soon as that's done, free Trigger Teddy spawn. Remember, in the third walk phase, it's actually free Trigger Teddies, not two. But that's not too much of a problem. Again, make sure Trigger Teddies aren't close to you. Don't blow yourself up. I mean, it's fine, but if you did this well, you should have like lives to spare. Remember, you can die twice and get in this. And boom. And ladies and gentlemen, that's you. That's the Mama Bear boss fight. So this is where you have teleport. This is literally the only part of the level that you can use teleport in, so that's why I'm literally saying don't bother. Make sure that, remember, the 5th secret is in this area. Make sure you turn to the left. Obviously the easiest way to remember this is either just left from the boss arena, or when you go in here you'll see the bone cave. If you look forward, you're like, oh yeah, that's the bone cave. It's like a rib cage, right? Turn left and you'll see this big gaping mouth. And there you go, that's your final secret. I'm sorry, they are watching sports downstairs and they are so loud. I don't get people that go crazy over sports, I'm sorry. For this phase, yeah, you can juke the Trigger Teddy, but if you really want to play it safe, like me, I've used up both of my lives to this point, so if I die, that's me, I've lost my S. So I just decided to vanish, and that Trigger Teddy, you can just run past him easily. If you want to make it easier, just vanish, and then make sure you have your Primal Fear ready for the other two Trigger Teddies. Remember, you cannot teleport uphill. You can teleport flat terrain and low terrain, but you cannot teleport high terrain. And last but not least, the escape sequence. This is easy. I just vanished here. It doesn't do anything. Vanish does not do anything here. Just speed boost away. Make sure you hug so when you exit that, make sure you take the left, and make sure you hug the right wall in the lounge area, and when you get to the foyer or the lobby, make sure you hug the left wall, because Mama Bear will actually kill you. Mama Bear's hands are actually in that. They're not programmed, but they're there. So Mama Bear can kill you in the cabin. Be careful. And then when you get out of the cabin, you'll have your speed. All your powers will reset. Speed boost to the portal, and that's you. You'll go through the cutscene. E or the orb will open the portal for you, and that's you. That is Barely Buried. I really hope this video was of help to you. If you want to see more about the power loadout, please check out the video. It's right there at the beginning. It's the first thing I do in the video. That's it, guys. I hope this helped you. Good luck S ranking Barely Buried. This is a super hard S rank, but I think you guys can do it. We're the DD community. Vince underestimated us when he said the S ranks were hard. Okay, they are, I guess, but I think Vince underestimated our power. You underestimate my power. Don't try it. Alright. Thank you for watching, guys. Sorry for the display capture. I know it's ugly seeing the OBS thing. Woo. But thank you for watching. I hope this helped, and have a joy good day.